So, other than the narrow economic lobbies we spoke about, we also see a lot of public interest lobbies. But why? Well, one of the reasons is that rationality is often overcome by the willingness to contribute to groups espousing causes people care about. Think about the commercials for the ASPCA, where they play Sarah McLachlan music in the background and show sad-looking pictures of animals and all that stuff. You see this commercial and all of a sudden you're motivated to give money to the ASPCA, or maybe buy a Sarah McLachlan single. Second, there are moral incentives for these sorts of things. We know we're supposed to donate to these types of causes. You saw my dog in the last video. He's sleeping on the floor behind the camera right now. But whenever I go to PetSmart, they ask me to donate money to homeless animals. And there's a certain shaming effect as the cashier looks at you and either you click the yes or the no button. Shaming works when there's a social norm there. I feel badly about it. I don't donate, but I feel badly about it afterward. Finally, there's the personal satisfaction of self-expression. People like putting bumper stickers on their cars, carrying PBS tote bags, and overall acting smugly about how they donated money to various causes. We feel good about ourselves donating money and sharing that information with the world. Another way to overcome this is through offering selective incentives. These are private goods that are only available to people who donate money to the lobby organization. The great example here is AAA, and I think we spoke about this earlier. They're a highway lobby group, but have millions of members who couldn't care less about highways. Their members get a number of selective incentives, like discounts a number of places, towing, free gas if you run out, minor mobile car repairs, and back in the night, they offered people paper maps, along with travel advice on how the best way to get somewhere is. When I originally went to California for grad school, I drove out there, and GPS wasn't a thing, so the AAA helped me figure out what to do and how to get there, gave me a couple options. All these things are ways that groups overcome the rational actor problem in any collective action. As a side note, and I've mentioned this before, when I use the word rational in this class, I mean the definition from economists rather than the one that normal people use. Rational in this case meaning acting in one's self-interest. Why have interest group grown, you asked? Well, great question. The interest group universe is constantly expanding. And many of these groups are sponsored by institutions such as corporations and labor unions, etc., government entities such as state and local governments, colleges and universities. Yes, Mary Washington kinda sorta has a lobbyist. And Indian tribes. Why is this, though? Well, it started with the social discord of the civil rights and Vietnam eras. We've also seen increases in affluence and education of the middle class, providing more and more potential members. Finally, technological advances like the internet and social media such as the MySpace and the Twitters have made it easier to join groups. This is especially true of marginalized communities who don't feel that they have a voice in the mainstream media, but can find similar people on the internet. Yes, there is such a thing as a hashtag activist in modern society, but this is a way for many people to have their voices amplified in a way that wasn't previously possible. Let me recommend, even if you have a Twitter account, which I don't think youths do for the most part anymore, go on to Twitter sometimes and read people. You'll find any sort of, different kinds of groups out there. You'll find what they call Black Twitter, where you have a bunch of Black civil rights leaders talking about different issues, talking about their experience as Black people in America. You'll find feminist Twitter. You'll find, Trump Twitter, Make America Great Again. You'll find anything you want. I was actually a big part of Soccer Analytics Twitter for a while and then moved on to Women's Soccer Analytics Twitter after that. There's all these sort of subgroups you can find. It's interesting reading how they speak about things and how people you might not be exposed to on a daily basis experience life and how they get to where they are. Additionally, though, we've seen inspiration come from forming rival groups and imitators. This can be because of a split between the founders of the initial group, differences of opinion, or because of rivalries within the group. We've also seen encouragement from the federal government, groups like the Business Roundtable and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and groups that are both in the public and private sector, like the American Farm Bureau Federation and the National Organization for Women. Finally, we see groups that emerge to defend government programs. Organizing for America, OFA, has transformed from Obama for America, OFA, to a group that advocates for the president's proposals and worked to enroll people in the insurance exchanges back in the ACA days. Another recent innovation is in fragmentation of old interests. As the federal government gets more complex, the lobby groups have to specialize more and more. Public hospitals have different issues than private hospitals, who have different issues from universities, who have different issues from orthopedic surgeons, etc., etc. For every issue that the federal government deals with, you see at least one interest group spring up, and then a counter interest group opposed to that one, and then an interest group that deals with a third way, a group that opposes that third way, etc., etc. And it's a constantly expanding universe that only gets more and more complicated as we go.